Sarah and Martin were a loving couple who had been together for 2 years. They were deeply in love and enjoyed each other's company. Martin had a successful business that generated a substantial income, allowing them to live comfortably. He was proud to be able to provide for Sarah and their future together. Sarah, on the other hand, had a salon that Martin had helped her open, and it was also doing very well. She was grateful for his support and encouragement. They shared their problems and joys together, and their marriage was filled with happiness and laughter. Martin was a hard-working and dedicated partner, always striving to improve their lives. Sarah admired his determination and ambition. Together, they made a great team, supporting each other through thick and thin. Their friends and family envied their loving relationship, and they were considered a perfect couple. However, little did they know that their happiness was about to be put to the test. As time went on, Martin's business started having setbacks, and he struggled to provide for their needs. He tried to revive his business, but it wasn't working out. Sarah had to step in and handle all the bills alone. She became the primary breadwinner, and Martin felt ashamed. He tried to hide his struggles, but Sarah noticed the change in him. She took on more financial responsibilities, managing their finances and paying the bills. Martin felt grateful for her support but also emasculated by his inability to provide. He tried to find solutions, but every attempt failed, leaving him feeling defeated. Sarah bore the weight of their financial burdens alone. Martin tried his best to revive his business, but it wasn't working out. He faced one setback after another, and his financial struggles continued. Despite his efforts, he couldn't generate enough income to support their lifestyle. Sarah's salon, on the other hand, was thriving, and she became the main source of income. She worked hard to keep their finances afloat, but it was a heavy burden. Martin felt guilty for not being able to contribute more. He tried to find new opportunities, but every door he knocked on seemed to be closed. His self-esteem suffered, and he felt like a failure. Sarah's success, meanwhile, made her more confident and independent. As time went on, Sarah became tired of paying the bills alone. She felt frustrated and resentful, carrying the financial burden by herself. Martin's inability to provide made her feel like she was shouldering the responsibility of their marriage alone. She started giving Martin negative attitude, making snide comments about his failures. Martin started to notice the change in attitude from his wife Sarah, but he pretended not to. He felt bad that he couldn't support their family financially anymore, but he knew it was only temporary. Martin was aware that Sarah was frustrated with him, but he didn't know how to fix their situation. He felt emasculated and inadequate as a husband and provider. Sarah's constant criticism and disapproval made him feel like a failure. Martin tried to explain his efforts to revive his business, but Sarah wouldn't listen. He felt like he was walking on eggshells, never knowing when she would lash out at him. Martin's self-esteem suffered, and he began to doubt himself. He felt like he was losing his partner and best friend. The love and respect they once shared seemed to be disappearing. Martin felt trapped and helpless, unable to change their circumstances. He knew he needed to do something, but he didn't know what. Sarah would only cook when she felt like it, and wouldn't even consider Martin's needs. She would ignore him when he came home hungry, leaving him to fend for himself. Martin felt like a stranger in his own home, unwelcome and unloved. Sarah's behavior was a stark contrast to the loving wife she once was. She would use his present situation against him, reminding him of his failures. Martin felt belittled and disrespected, like he was walking on eggshells around her. He tried to talk to her about it, but she wouldn't listen. Sarah's attitude was hurting Martin deeply, and he felt like he was losing his partner. The love and respect they once shared seemed to be disappearing. Martin felt like a guest in his own home, not a husband and partner. He was tired of feeling unappreciated and disrespected. Sarah's behavior was taking a toll on Martin's self-esteem and their relationship. Due to Sarah's constant nagging and annoying behavior, Martin started spending more time away from home. He would stay out late with his friends, trying to escape the tension and stress caused by his wife's behavior. Martin felt like he needed a break from Sarah's constant criticism and disapproval. He tried to find solace in his friends and drinks, hoping to forget his troubles for a while. But deep down, he knew he couldn't run away from his problems forever. Martin felt trapped and helpless, unable to change his situation. As time went on, Sarah became even more mean and vindictive towards Martin. She stopped cooking for him altogether, leaving him to fend for himself. Martin was embarrassed to have to go to his friend's house to eat, but he had no choice. He was hungry and couldn't afford to eat out every day. Sarah's behavior was hurtful and vindictive. One day, Martin's frustration and sadness became too much to bear, and he went drinking alone at night. He got so drunk that he couldn't even walk straight, and that's when he met Christy, a kind and compassionate woman at the club. Christy saw the pain in Martin's eyes and took him under her wing, helping him get home safely. She even offered to take him to her house to spend the night, and Martin gratefully accepted. Christy's kindness and empathy struck a chord in Martin, and he felt seen and heard for the first time in a long time. He was thankful for her help and support, and he knew he could trust her. Christy's selflessness and generosity inspired Martin, and he felt a sense of hope that he hadn't felt in a long time. He realized that there were still good people in the world, and that he didn't have to face his problems alone. Martin was deeply grateful to Christy for her kindness and support. She had helped him in his darkest moment, and he couldn't thank her enough. Christy's selflessness and empathy had struck a chord in Martin, and he felt a sense of connection with her. He was amazed by her generosity and compassion, and he knew he could trust her. Christy's actions had shown Martin that there were still good people in the world, and he felt a sense of hope that he hadn't felt in a long time. He eagerly accepted her card and felt excited to meet her again and continue their conversation. Martin knew he had found a true friend in Christy, and he cherished her kindness and support. He felt a sense of comfort and security knowing she was there for him, and he looked forward to their next meeting. When Martin returned home, Sarah was furious and didn't hesitate to express her anger. The quarrel that ensued was intense and bitter, with both parties saying hurtful things. Martin felt attacked and belittled, and he couldn't take it anymore. He realized that he had been living in a toxic environment for too long and needed to escape. The constant nagging, criticism, and emotional abuse had taken a toll on his mental health. Martin knew he deserved better and decided to take a stand for himself. He left the house, seeking refuge in his workplace. Martin felt a deep sense of loneliness after leaving his home and wife. He was emotionally drained from the constant quarrels and felt the need for human connection. Remembering Christy's kindness and support, he decided to reach out to her. He felt a sense of comfort and security knowing she would be there to listen and offer advice. Martin and Christy started spending more time together, going out and having fun. They would talk for hours, sharing their thoughts and feelings. Christy's empathy and understanding helped Martin process his emotions and gain clarity. He felt a sense of healing and growth in her presence. Martin realized that he had been living in a toxic environment for too long and was grateful for Christy's positive influence. With Christy by his side, Martin felt empowered to take control of his life and make necessary changes. Martin opened up to Christy about his struggles at home and work, sharing his feelings of frustration and despair. Christy listened attentively, offering words of encouragement and support. She sympathized with Martin's situation, understanding the pain of being in a toxic relationship. Martin felt a sense of relief sharing his burden with someone who cared. Christie's empathy and compassion helped Martin process his emotions and gain clarity. She offered valuable advice and guidance, helping Martin develop a plan to regain control of his life. Martin felt grateful for Christie's presence in his life, recognizing that she was a true friend. With Christie's support, Martin began to see that he deserved better and that he had the strength to make positive changes. Christie's influence helped Martin develop a newfound sense of confidence and self-worth. Martin and Christie's friendship blossomed as they spent more time together, sharing their thoughts and feelings. They found comfort in each other's company, bonding over their shared experiences. Christie's kindness and empathy helped Martin heal from the emotional wounds inflicted by his wife. Martin, in turn, supported Christie through her own struggles, and they became each other's rock. They enjoyed each other's company, trying new things and exploring new places. Their friendship was built on trust, understanding, and mutual respect. Martin felt grateful to have Christie in his life, and she felt the same way about him. As they navigated their lives, they knew they could always count on each other. Their friendship was a source of strength and inspiration, helping them grow and thrive. After weeks of uncertainty, Martin's business finally began to flourish again. He had invested all his money in a new venture, which initially seemed like a scam but ultimately proved to be a successful endeavor. The delay in its success had been frustrating, but Martin was relieved and thrilled to see his hard work paying off. He was proud of himself for persevering through the tough times and grateful for Christie's unwavering support. Martin's business was now generating a steady income, and he felt a sense of accomplishment and pride. He was able to provide for himself and his future family, a stark contrast to the struggles he faced during his marriage to Sarah. Martin's success was a testament to his resilience and determination, and he knew that he could overcome any obstacle as long as he had the right mindset. With his business thriving, Martin felt a sense of freedom and happiness that he had not experienced in a long time. He was excited for the future and the possibilities it held, and he knew that Christie would be by his side every step of the way. Martin's revival in business marked a new chapter in his life, one filled with hope, promise, and a renewed sense of purpose. Martin was overjoyed when his business finally started to flourish again, but he deliberately kept the news from his wife Sarah. He had seen the real side of her and was no longer willing to share his happiness with someone who had been so unsupportive. Martin felt a sense of liberation and freedom, knowing that he was no longer tied to a toxic relationship. Martin returned home with a newfound sense of confidence and purpose, ready to reclaim his space as the man of the house. His business was thriving once again, and he was no longer willing to tolerate Sarah's toxic behavior. With his head held high, Martin reasserted his authority and took control of his life. He was determined to create a happy and peaceful home, free from the constant nagging and criticism. Martin's newfound strength and resilience inspired him to stand up for himself and set boundaries with Sarah. He was no longer willing to be walked all over and disrespected. Martin's assertiveness surprised Sarah, who was used to pushing him around. She realized too late that she had lost her grip on him, and he was no longer under her control. Martin finally found the courage to end his toxic marriage with Sarah, filing for divorce and closing a painful chapter in his life. He was relieved to be free from her constant nagging, criticism, and emotional abuse. Sarah was shocked and regretful, realizing too late that she had lost her husband's love and respect. She had taken him for granted, and her lack of support and understanding had driven him away. Martin's decision to divorce her was a wake-up call, and she was filled with remorse for her past behavior. She had failed to be a good partner and wife, and now she was paying the price. Martin, on the other hand, felt a sense of liberation and freedom, finally able to live his life without fear of judgment or rejection. He was grateful for Christie's love and support, which had given him the strength to move on from his failed marriage. With the divorce, Martin closed the door on a painful past and opened a new chapter in his life, one filled with hope, love, and happiness. He was finally able to live the life he deserved, free from the shackles of a toxic relationship. Martin and Christie's relationship blossomed, and they decided to start a new life together. They built a loving and supportive home, free from the toxicity of Martin's previous marriage. Christie brought joy and warmth into Martin's life, and he was grateful for her love and companionship. Together, they started a family, and Martin finally experienced the happiness and fulfillment he had been missing. Christie was a loving and devoted partner, and Martin cherished her for being his rock and confidant. They shared a deep connection, and their love continued to grow with each passing day. Martin was proud to call Christie his wife and partner, and he knew that she would always be there to support and encourage him. Christie brought out the best in Martin, and he was grateful for her unwavering love and support. As they built their life together, Martin knew that he had made the right choice in leaving his toxic marriage behind and starting anew with Christie. Martin and Christie's love story was one of hope, redemption, and the power of true love to heal and transform lives.